Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma is so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada, and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
I was playing musical rooms with you this morning.
You were. I went and got into the room, and it was like, okay, there's nobody here.
I was like, oh my God, Barbara's gonna be like, what are you doing, Barbara? Yes, we're full disclosure on this show. Just to let everybody know.
But you know what? That's the thing. And it is so funny because this happened, because that's what happens to so many people. They're so afraid of things like this happening that they don't even get started.
See, and that's not good.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
So what? We're here.
Yeah.
It's
just we were playing musical rooms and
just playing musical rooms.
Yeah. And we're here. Yeah. And that's what I love about, again, I love our, collaboration, what we do together, because, we work together, we got everything that we got going on, and we still help each other. We understand each other. We work with each other, and that's what it's all about. So I want to thank you again, Barbara, for always, being in my corner and being there through my ups and downs and my flaws and everything else.
The thing is, that's what makes the world go round. I was just listening to a thing the other day on the levels of just life. Mm-hmm. So you can approach life as that it owes me, or you can view life as, well, okay, I want to be a little bit better person, and I want to help a few people. Or you can be what would be called valiant. We want to change the world for the better. Be our best authentic self and help everybody else in the world to be their authentic self. And it's absolutely the truth. And I always research happiness. And I got a little text the other day that the World Happiness Summit is coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that they're going to be doing that. And that's because this isn't just here in the States or in Canada, North America. This is everywhere. And the thing is that people they want to be happy, but they don't quite know sometimes how to get it.
And
lots of times, and people will say, well, I just want to be happy. Okay, so what does that mean to you? Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you? And so often people go, well, they talk about things. Oh, I want to, I'll be happy when my children graduate from college. I'll be happy when whatever.
When they move, but some parents are. I'll be happy when they move out.
when they move out, exactly. The thing is so, but those are external things. Yeah. But happiness is getting in touch with your true self. Whatever is the most meaningful and the most inspiring, that's fulfilling to you. And that's not based on other people.
And it's good. I'm glad you brought this out, Barbara, because a lot of times, like you say, when you ask that question, what makes you happy? And it's so easy to go to like you said, that go to like, well, when I do this, or when this happens, or when this person, da 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 da.
Or when that person changes.
Which I don't, that might not never happen. So
that might never happen. Exactly.
You might forget about that part because,
no,
if people tell me you can't change me, I'm like, okay, you're right, I can't. You're right. Yeah.
And nor are we responsible to. The only person you can change in this life is ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And then learn how to deal with others. And that's why I like what you have with
my personality stuff. You can you can make adjustments, but you can't change them. So it's like, and so when things happen to us, one of the things that I have really had to work on is changing that little mindset from this has happened to me. I have now changed it to this has happened for me.
That's a good way of looking at it.
That one little word, because everything is a lesson, or it can be a lesson.
If you let it.
If you let it.
Yeah. If you're open to it. Yeah.
If you're open to it. And you and I mean, we've talked so many times about just be open to possibilities.
Yeah.
Be open to the possibilities that are all around us every day. Because when you don't do that, that becomes a nightmare. That's where you know, that's where, like with me, I work with midlife people. And one of the things that I've been working on is that how many people wake up to the midlife, they feel like they're in the midlife trap. They're in debt. They're, they're in a dead end job. They're in their health they're in declining health, and have no idea how to change it.
Wow.
And
on top of all that, don't even know what really happiness means for them.
And they don't know what happiness, and they go from point A to point B, point A to point B, from point A to point B every day until something happens. In my case, my husband passed away. Other people are in a car. Brendan Burchard, he said his turning point was when he was in a car accident.
Isn't it powerful how certain things like that can happen in your life to get you to kind of reflect, look on something way different than before?
Yeah. And for a lot of people, it was what we've been going through for the last 2 years.
Well, with the whole pain, and then I keep telling people when I talk to people, and you probably do too, is you say to them, okay, even going through this, because this is a whole, wow, because this happened to everybody, not just in the United States. I tell people it's everywhere,
worldwide.
I said, but even with this, we still have to, like you said, Barbara, all the time. What decision? How are you going to respond to this? How do you react to it? And you have to ask yourself that with everything, not even with the pandemic.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can be, and sometimes, it says in the Bible that it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. And it's absolutely true. Sometimes it's those little things. Like, okay, I'll give you today. We played room tag. When I turned on my computer, I had to totally restart.
Oh, you had to reboot?
I had to totally restart. Nothing was working. My mouse was working, but it wasn't letting me click on anything. It wouldn't let me copy and paste. And I'm like, okay, so let's try putting in the link by hand. Well, so then it says, oh no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I got a 404 error.
Oh,
okay. So I love those 404.
Oh, you do?
That's fine. One of my favorite sayings is, as you know, is I love technology when it works and I love technology when it doesn't, because technology hears you.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I should never say that. You're right. I gotta be careful.
Technology hears you. And it's like, my girlfriend, Pat. I miss Pat.
I know. I see, Barbara, every time you mention her, it's like 2 days before when you mention her, I seen something that I seen a video now with the three of us again when we did an interview. And I was like,
I miss Pat. But she always blamed it on Mercury being in retrograde. And no clue what that means. But I would always say it because Pat said it. I had no idea what it means. What does that mean? And yet there are a lot of people that swear by it.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, people tell us like, oh, okay. I'd be like, oh, in the back of my mind, I'm like,
what does that mean? Exactly. It's one of those open loops that I really should close. It's like, okay, as you know, I was a bartender for a lot of years, and it was just fun. Being a bartender, and I think you've heard me say it before, is that, bartenders are the world's lowest paid psychologists. because people tell you
Everything.
everything. They tell you everything. However, one of the fun things we would be going along in the night, and nights have, it's like an audience has a vibe, a crowd has a vibe, a concert has a vibe. They all do. A show has a vibe, because it's how it's all putting together. And so often we would be partway through the night, and we would look at each other and go, "Is it a full moon? Go look and see if it's a full moon." It would just be, especially if it was one of those beautiful, clear, total, where, I mean, you can see by the light of the moon when it's just one of those beautiful, clear nights. But it has a different vibe to it. And so the psychologists always say, "Oh yeah, there's nothing to a full moon affecting people." Not until you talk to every bartender. What's it like to be here? What's it like to be working on a full moon? There's just certain vibe. There's a certain vibe to a full moon. And it would be like, "Oh yay." And you just kind of laugh it off, but it just kind of it became a joke. It was like, "Oh yeah, it's full moon. Somebody go look and see if it's a full moon tonight." And they would come running back. "Yeah, it's a full moon." "Oh, okay, that explains it. That explains what's happening here." And it was nothing that you could put your finger on it, but it was just
something, like you said, that vibe of it, and you kind of knew already. Okay, let's go out as a full moon. Automatically in your mind, you're like, okay, it has to be a full moon.
Is there a full
because
moon?
this is going on.
Because this is going on. And that's how Pat felt about Mercury being in retrograde.
It's funny because I used to hear it from her too. Yeah. And I heard it from other people. That's why I'm like you, Boris, I need to close the loop on this because I'm not really understanding all of that, what that is. And I feel bad just saying, "Oh yeah, that's what it is." And I'm like, Barbara, you don't know.
And I don't know. Yeah. And I believe that it is something with Mercury in the orbit of Mercury.
Somewhere in because I know it has to do with
it's in the constellations.
Yeah.
It's in the constellations.
Sometimes when it's off, I'm thinking, this is my thought. Now, see, I'm making up my own thing here. I'm thinking if it's off a little bit, maybe everything else gets off with the whole, what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay, so audience, if somebody really knows what it means to be, let's ask the audience. Because neither one of us know totally what it is.
I thought it sounds kind of good, but it didn't.
Ask the audience, what is it? What is it? What does it mean when Mercury is in retrograde, and why does it affect technology?
Sometimes I can get away with sounding like that I'm intelligent in certain areas. That is like
that is, I don't know.
I'll let that go.
But the thing is, that, but people will give us feedback. The thing is, life also gives us feedback.
Well, yeah. Because now what's going to happen, we're both will probably research this Mercury thing.
And now and so by next week we'll have, of course,
we'll have an answer to it.
We'll have to give an update.
Give us a way to research.
Let's hold ourselves accountable.
Okay.
That's fine. Because you know what, my dad, I only lost him 3 years ago. He lived to be 102.
Wow, Barbara.
And that was one of the things that he always said: learn something new every day.
He's so right. He sold us
learn something new every day.
Wisdom.
Yeah, and it's because it lets you to number one, exercise your brain. When you are learning, let's talk about our brain for a minute. It has neural pathways. Your neural pathways. When you are learning something, it makes new neural pathways. Because it's like, oh, that's something new. It has to learn. That's why it is so important to do something with your opposite hand every day.
And it's hard because I know you told me that before, and I'm like, how do you do it? I
It's
cannot write with this. See, even I even hold it bad.
You
See
can
how I
hold-
hold this pen? That's bad. I can't do that.
That's the thing, Barb. It doesn't matter. All it is exercise for your brain.
But
Because
I feel like I'm just
it's like you can't
see
even
the
write.
difference. See the difference, Barbara. You see the
When-
difference. Ugh.
Yeah, you can't. When I have to tell you, when I got attacked by the dog, what, 5 years ago? I mean, I literally could not move my hand. I mean, I lost part of the top of my finger, almost lost
Ooh.
this finger. I don't know if I ever told you that.
No.
Anyways, yeah, I was attacked by a dog. So lost the top third, and I was blessed that my nail came back and that it has not bad. I mean, I can tell that it's definitely shorter.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
but
God. Is it a dog around the neighborhood or something?
yeah, I was out walking my dog, and this dog came out of nowhere and tried to attack Daisy. And when she couldn't get to Daisy, she attacked me. It attacked me. It was an English bulldog.
Oh, see those best things.
Yeah, the thing that saved me, because it was in January, the thing that saved me was that I was on the street and not on the sidewalk between the snowbanks.
Okay.
So I could get away from it.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, how did you do that?
Oh, but that was very traumatic. And luckily a truck was coming down the road, because I was just screaming by this point.
Because it totally just bit your whole hand.
Oh yeah, but one of the fun parts was not fun, but it wasn't. Now I look back now, but I had my gloves on, so that helped a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, it took off the top third of my finger. And
oh, Barbara, wow.
But anyways, a truck was coming down, scared the dog away.
Okay.
And then they called the ambulance and the police, and
got you to the hospital.
And the ambulance came for me. But the thing is, out of that, you don't realize that PTSD is real, no matter what happens to you. And one day it was like my daughter-in-law, we all live together. I mean, there's a lot of us in the house. And one day she came to me, she said, "Barb, you need to go for therapy." And I said, "What?" She said, "You need to go. There's something wrong with you. You are not yourself. You since the dog bite." And a friend of mine is a trauma coach.
Okay.
And so I called her up. She lives in Texas. And I called her up and I said, "My daughter-in-law tells me that I have to come for a little bit of therapy." "Okay, fine," she said. And you know what? It wasn't until I got into it that, oh, yike, that trauma, I had buried it. And what the most traumatic part of it was, and this is why it's so important. Like last week, we talked about identifying what it is that's happened.
Yes, definitely.
When as part of the coaching process, I realized that having the dog bite me was not the most traumatic part of the event.
So what was it?
What was the most traumatic part of the event was when I was lying in the ambulance and the EMT guy was giving the report to the hospital. We have a female victim. She's lost the top third of her finger. Top third, and the other part of her finger has whatever it was that they call it, where I had to have 11 stitches across it. I was lucky that I saved the top of my baby finger.
Wow.
That was the most traumatic part of it. Hearing that.
Yeah. It happened.
I had already blocked out the actual physical pain of it, but hearing that. And it wasn't until I was in like it was pretty much therapy.
Yeah.
To get realizing that was what was causing the PTSD, but I didn't recognize it. Wow. It was Tara that said, "Barb, you need to talk to somebody about the dog, about what happened."
It's so important. See, Barb, that just shows how important it is to talk things out when things happen to you in life. I mean, I wish, you were talking about that PT. You're right, it's real. I wish I had that when my father passed. I mean, exactly. My dad, because my mother did, because I was 17,
Right.
just about to graduate from high school. Thank God I did with honors, even though all that traumatic happened to me. That
Right.
trauma. But my mother kept saying, which is, this is where you really have to dig deep inside and say, I still need help. So my mother was the type of person to say, we'll work things out on our own. You don't need to go to a psychiatrist. You need to go to counselor. She said, what does that look like? We don't look right doing that. That's what in her mind. So when I was telling her that, I told her, I said, I think I need some help.
Yeah.
This is really,
this is not right.
This is not right for me. And she kept saying, get over it. Yeah, we'll be fine. You know, all that stuff, Barbara. And years passed.
Right.
You know, and I kept thinking and ringing in my ear what she was saying. I was like, every time I felt like somewhere, I was like, no, she told me to get it together. She told me I need to pull, you know, get it together. And
that's why there's so many people become an emotion stuffer.
Yes.
They stuff it down, stuff it down, stuff it down, stuff it down. It's gonna come out somewhere.
Barbara, I'm in my late, mid-50s, and it's coming out now.
It's just coming out now.
Coming out more. It seemed like last year and this year than any year.
Yeah.
And I know why. And see, that's just to add to it, like we're talking about with this, at least I'm understanding why. Because sometimes things happen, like you said, the emotions start coming out and you're in there like, okay, what's this? Where's this coming from? Out of how many years or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know why.
Right.
So I know how to deal with it, you know.
Right. The thing that I have realized also is sometimes something will come up and it's our inner 5-year-old that just wants to sit on my mother's lap and be hugged. There's not anything wrong with me. I just need to sit on my mother's lap and be hugged.
That is so true, Barbara. Wow.
The thing is when you're feeling that way, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, because that's where visualization comes in. Just sit down and visualize your mom sitting on a chair, and you can literally visualize yourself crawling on her lap. And that is the most powerful things. And let the tears come. Let the emotion out. Let the anger out.
Yes.
Why didn't you do this when I was 5?
Yeah.
You know, why didn't you let me do this? Why didn't you let me crawl on your lap? Whatever that emotion is, it is so
powerful. That's powerful. Yeah.
But that's where having a coach gives you the safe place to do it.
That's what I tell people. Yeah, because everybody some people in their mind, I don't even go to a counselor. I'm not. The first thing I hear always, Barbara, I'm not crazy.
It has nothing to do with crazy. You know what it has everything to do with? It has nothing to do with being crazy. It's being a human being with emotional needs.
Thank you.
And
say it again, Barbara. Say it again. Put it down, please. Say it again.
You are a human being with emotional needs. If your needs are not being met, it's gonna come out somewhere. It either comes out as road rage, anger, telling off your boss, picking on your husband, beating up your kids. It's going to come out somewhere.
Yeah. So
you
true.
Must deal with it.
Well, with that, Barbara, we're going to go to our sponsor.
And we'll come back with happier things. But you know what? But this is part of happiness. This is part of happiness.
It is.
With the junk.
Yes.
We all do.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family. and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
We're back.
We are back. So, yeah, deep subject.
Deep subject, but good. You know, we need to bring out more of this so people are aware. And that's one thing I was about, being awareness. Like we're always saying, Barbara, once you're aware of it, then, you know, it's that you can't sit there say again and say, well, I just don't understand. Well, we kind of mentioned some things, so that can kind of get you to start the process.
And all it takes is one spark. And like I said, it was Cara that came to me and she said, Barb, you're not yourself. And this was like months afterwards, because I was brought up, I mean, there's nothing wrong with me. You just deal with it. And I was stuffing all the emotion down.
Same as me. Yeah.
One thing though, in that summer, we were camping at a campground, and there was this big dog.
Oh.
And it got off its chain, and it was a very friendly dog. My grandson had to come and rescue me.
Oh, wow.
I was absolutely frozen in terror, backed up into a prickly bush, and I literally could not move, just screaming for help. John came. John, John's the big guy. And he came, and it was like, and he shooed the dog away. The dog was very friendly, and the owner was, I am so sorry, but she just got off her lead, but a very friendly dog, and just was going to lick me, but because of the trauma of January, I realized that. So it was back to edit. Okay, edit. This is what happened. And she was like, she walked me through another process of letting it go. And so now we have several dogs in our house, and they don't bother me, and I can walk and see a dog, and I'm okay. But I didn't
process.
It was the process. So don't be afraid of the process.
Don't be afraid of the process. I mean, I was just thinking too, because I was it's been like when I was in my 30s. I had a car. In all my life, I've been in 2 car accidents. One that I know I caused, and another one somebody else caused. Right. So it's, but the one that I was the one that caused.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't get arrested or anything, but it was the time where it was winter, and there was that black ice.
Black ice. Yeah.
Oh, and I stopped, and my mother was in the car with me. It was me and her together. And I was going, certain, and then all of a sudden I hit the brakes real hard. Didn't know the black ice was there, and basically ran into the person, and then the other person ran into us in the back. Yeah. I'm telling you, Barbara, after that happened, which we were okay,
right? But
the fact is that just now it's like all the time when I was starting to get back driving, I would be like,
yeah, exactly.
Because I'm just, I'm thinking, oh my God, somebody, or if I see somebody coming close to me, it's like I move away real quickly, because I'm like, I just think about that,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And so that's why it's so important to get, if you've been in something like that, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody and just talk to, It's always better though to talk to somebody that can take you through the lessons.
Like you said, the process.
Through the process. So I just really encourage people to do that, because
Barbara, this is good. I like this. This is good. I mean, it's nice to give some tips like this for people, because we all go through different things in our life like that.
We all go through junk.
Yeah.
Stuff happens every day. Stuff happens every day. And the thing is that sometimes the little things, it will trigger you to remember the big things.
Yes. And it will make you appreciate too sometimes.
And sometimes you appreciate it, and sometimes you try to stuff it again, and then you realize, okay, I can't stuff this anymore. I have got to do something about this because it's stop the stuffing.
That sounds like a tagline. Stop the stuffing.
Stop the. Yeah, we should use that. We should use that sometimes. Stop the stuffing because it blocks happiness.
It does. See, it all goes back to time.
It all comes back. This is why I study what I do. It all comes back. And for me, when my girlfriend said, "Well, Barb, what do you want?" I said, "I just want people to be happy."
Yeah, that was so sweet. You said, that sounds so nice. And you said, "Mommy, I just want people to be happy, be the normal, not the abnormal."
For it to be the normal thing. And so many people are just not. They don't think number one, they don't think they deserve it. And they don't know how to get it.
Yeah,
so couple of little tips. So that's I'm a tip girl. I love sharing little steps that you can take.
They help. Yeah.
Because that was my journey. All right. What was the first thing that I needed to do? Prioritize. And how you can do it is just ask yourself, and see, it all comes back to inner reflection. Take some time to sit with yourself. You are your best friend. You are also your worst enemy. So let's talk to your friend, because your friend can help you deal with your enemy. So let's deal with your friend. Okay. So one of the things that you can do, what is the highest priority action that I am going to take today? Is that get in touch with why I'm so upset? Get in touch with what is making me happy today. Because when you know what's making you, if something that's making you happy, you can remember that when you're not so happy.
Okay.
Remember the happy thing. So, but if you never get in touch with what makes you happy,
you kind of, what you gonna remember?
Yeah, if you only get in touch with the things that make you sad or angry or upset, how are you going to deal with the things that make you upset if you don't know what makes you happy?
Can I put a little just commercial in that and let you finish your tips?
Absolutely.
So you said that hit something. So and I want to ask you this question, and everybody out there that's listening to us, because we're having this conversation. Do you ever have people that you're talking to, you're having a conversation with, right? And then they're really flustered about whatever, and it could be something. I mean, in their world, it's like this major thing. In your mind, it's like, okay, it's not that. It's not that. I mean, we can work with this. It's not like detrimental, like somebody died or whatever. It's just basically maybe something happened the right way in the universe today, right? And while you're talking, they're just continuously, you're talking, trying to bring in the positive, trying to just talk it out and everything. Well, I just can't believe they did this to me. I just don't understand them. I don't even like that. I can't believe they said that. And then you're like, okay, let's just have a conversation. Well, I didn't. And it is on and on, Barbara. Have you ever those conversations with people where they're still focused on that one negative thing, and you're kept saying, "Come on, let's let's get this."
One of the things that I share with people is, okay, so that happened. Why is it making you so upset? What's underneath it? Because so often the things that we get upset about in other people are because we don't like it in ourselves.
Okay.
So true. So true. If you don't like something, it's kind of like it's like when it says in the scripture that you want to take the speck out of somebody else's eye, but you ignore the fact that you have a plank in yours.
I know. We do that a lot. It's like,
and we do that. And so one of the things is like, okay, that happened. What do you, or it'll be, I steer it to like, okay, so what does it tell you about you? What is it telling you about you that you are reacting so strongly to this?
And then are you going to take it on all day? Or some people take on things for days and days and days.
Right.
And it's like,
And so do you want to be still dealing with this 3 days from now? One time I had that with my sister. Her husband did, and she was furious with him. And she was going on and on and on about it. And I finally looked at her, and I think I've always been a coach in some ways. I look back to all before I was.
It's been in you, Barbara. It's been in you.
And I finally looked at her and I said, well, Debbie, are you going to get a divorce over this?
Is what he says, silence.
And she had to say, it stopped her. You stop it. Stop. And then so the exercise that we always talk about, stop. Wait. Then listen. Breathe. Take that breath. And she looked at me, she said, well, of course not. Then because you have to stop first. You have to get them to stop first. Okay. So now, if you're not going to get a divorce over this, are you going to remember this 2 years from now? Well, probably not. Then let it go right now. Well, how do I do that? Write a letter. Writing it down. Writing is down is so powerful. Write it down. Write down everything that you were feeling. Write it down with pen and paper, not on a computer.
Yeah. I always tell people some about that, like you said, some about writing it.
Therapeutic. It gets you. One time I was so mad, I actually ripped the paper.
Hey.
Get it out of your body, because then it's over with.
Yeah.
Then it's over with.
Yeah. That has helped me in a lot of ways. Just writing. Oh, it's helped me in so many ways, especially when I'm really upset or sad.
When you're really sad. Yeah. Right. And anyway, so that's your priority. Like prioritize, and you can just ask yourself some questions. Does it fulfill a priority in my life? Is what is based, like if you are upset about something, is this fulfilling is this a priority in my life? If it is, okay, then make a list of why it is and what you want to do, because this thing that's upsetting you is obviously something that has happened. But what are you going to learn from it for it not to upset you next time?
Especially if you don't have, and the add to that, especially if you have no control over it.
You have no control. Exactly.
There's nothing like, okay, the pandemic, we'll use that as an example, since we're all in it. We have no control over. I mean, the only thing we can do is if we're going to do the booster or the shot, you do that. If you're not going to do it. I mean, it's up, because I'm not in the back and forth with that. People, make a big to-do out of that alone. And, you put the mask on, put them on. Just do what you have to do. We have no control. So getting upset about it every day and waking up every day talking about how upset you are is not doing you any justice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so because once you prioritize your life and you prioritize the things that what actions can you take today, that's going to put you back in touch with what your authentic self is. Because every event is neutral.
Yes.
Everything is neutral. The only thing it's what because like some people, let's talk about what we did the last 2 years. For some people, it's been the best thing since sliced bread.
I know people say, they said, wow, this has really helped me out. This
has helped me a lot. For other people, it's been the worst thing. Yeah. The event itself is neutral.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so often we get caught in the comparison game. And when you start comparing, and comparing can be good, it can be a positive thing. Oh, well, gee, but I don't know. Let's see. Let me get my thought again. Because everything is neutral, you can compare yourself to somebody and be like, oh, I don't deserve what they have. I'm not worthy of having what they have. Or you can compare and go, well, yeah, I have more than look at where they are compared to where I am. It's a haughty attitude.
Mm.
of saying, oh, I don't, the humbleness of saying, oh, I don't have that. And the haughtiness of saying, well, I do have that. Having anything is neutral. Having anything is neutral. But everything that everybody else has, we have within ourselves.
Yes.
Like if you want to be more flamboyant, then be a little bit more flamboyant because you have it within yourself. Once you recognize that everything is neutral and you can compare or not compare, and once you get that, oh yeah, I have that within me. Like I used to always think, how can I be a great speaker? Well, I'm learning.
Yeah. I'm learning. And don't compare yourself to others because we all have our mentors of speakers that we
I'm
love.
no Brendan Burchard, but I have my gifts and I have my talents. You have your gifts and your talents. We just happen to gel together. So we can explode our talents and gifts.
And that's just a cool thing. I love that. I love when we bring that together. I mean, why do it alone when you can come together and be, collaborate, working together?
Right, because the things that you do together, you can impact so many more people than you ever can by yourself.
Yes.
You can impact more. And then plus what happens is that when you can accept that everybody has gifts. Oh, that's not my gift. Okay, I love the fact that they have the gift. Oh, wow, I'll be able to use that gift.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, they're okay. So they're so far above me. Okay, yeah, but they're no different than me. That's just they've just been doing it longer.
Yeah.
They've just been doing it longer.
And just to add to that before we close, I want to say respect it. Even you see the gift, you recognize, you be like, oh, I appreciate it. And respect the gift that they have, just like vice versa. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Because once you're able to do that and see the good and see all of that, that's when you become so in tune with your authentic self that it shows up and people accept you, they love you, you will attract your tribe.
Yes.
Because we've talked about it many times. You have to get your voice out there. And so when you have your authentic voice, you're not trying to be the person above you, but you're not saying that you're not worthy of that the person below you hasn't gotten to where you are.
Yeah.
When you are that you're doing your thing, that's when you become your most authentic self. You will be happier. You will be just so in tune with what you want in your life. It will start to show up in your life.
Wow. Well put, my friend. I just love you.
That's why we're the BBs.
I just love you. We're the BBs.
And it'll be 2 years in June.
Yes. And you always remind me. You said, Barbara, we got 2 years.
Well, yeah, because we missed our first anniversary. And it was like, oh, how long have we been on? And it was like, and it was after the fact that we realized, oh, yeah, we've been on a year.
Well, we need to remember this time. I want to make sure, Barbara, that we do something special here for our second year. Did it pass yet? Look at me. I'm asking.
No, it's in June. It's in June.
Okay. June 6th. Keep me accountable. So we need to maybe bring a whole bunch of other people on together and we just
have a panel. Get a panel of some of our past guests.
Yeah, I think we need to work on that. Let's work on that. I think that'd be really awesome to celebrate our 2 years.
Yeah, because we have had some amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
And to say that we've been on together on a show for 2 years, to me, that's just brilliant. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we continue to grow. We continue to do what we do.
We continue to grow, and we're helping to grow E360, and and
each other, and meet all these different people that you bring on. I always give you the credit where credit's due. That you find these wonderful guests to bring on the show. So I always thank you for that. Always.
All right. Well, can I tell on myself a little bit?
Uh-oh.
Sometimes when I'm talking to people, it's because I learn from them.
Yeah.
And so that's why it is so nice to interview people that are in different things.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
And if one little thing sparks an awareness, oh, I could do that. It was like when my girlfriend asked me, well, Barb, what do you want? I just want people to be happy. Mm-hmm. That sparked an awareness.
Yes.
And it transformed my life.
Mm-hmm. That's your mission. That's your mission.
That became my mission, to make happiness the norm. And now I love the fact that I work with midlife mentors. I'm a midlife mentor. How, because so many people wake up and they're caught in the midlife trap and don't know how to get out of it.
I know. They need you. A lot of us need you, because we do get caught in those traps. We're like, what do I do? What do I do? And they can get depressed and everything. We don't want to go that route.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They wake up to the fact that the life they're leading is not necessarily the one they want to do for the next 30 years or 40 years or,
That's that purpose. I'm telling you, change it. They can and see, there's nice thing about it, Barbara, you tell them they can change it.
Yeah.
You can change the course.
Yeah.
It has to be up to you.
Right. Change the course. And one of the things that I have, for me, is I have realized, a friend of mine, we were talking about GPSs. And I said, well, that's kind of what I do. It's like I get people started. So that's the G. Then the P is to provide the accountability to keep them going.
Okay, I like this.
But then the S is that I stay with them until they get there, until they don't need me anymore.
Look at that. I like that.
And it was like, I'm going to use that.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I'm like, yeah, you need to use that. That's cool.
Because it was like just to get you going, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but it is a process. So, and some people can get themselves going in one time.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it, but sometimes sometimes it just needs that one spark of awareness.
Yes,
I had one of my clients that did that. It was like when I asked him, well, if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing? And it absolutely stopped him, because that's the key. It's something that stops you. And then he finally told me, and he said, well, I think I would like to do that. And so then I said to him, so what's one thing that you can do in the next 2 weeks that's going to move the needle towards that? Just one thing.
Wow.
And tell me one thing that you can do. One small, inconsequential step. What's one thing that you could do? And he told me one thing that he could do. Barb, the next time I talked to him, he was a changed man.
Wow.
Changed man. Wow. And then after he had graduated out from me, because he needed to go to a higher level, because we all have levels of coaching. Once he was, I'm the get you started and, and then help you to move on, that kind of stuff. But it was like, he was a change. And he wrote me a nice testimonial. And he said, it was just something that you said. It was the question you asked that changed my life forever. Totally changed the trajectory of his life.
And sometimes it's that one, some things that you say to a person.
That one question.
The whole thing. Well, Barbara, our time is way up here, but I just want to say thank you again. And also to wish all the women out there, it's Women's History Month, and International Women, I think, is on the 8th of March. So, so all those women, yes.
Yep.
So we're making history as we're doing it now. So that's what I tell people. Everybody's making history. Whatever you're doing, you're making history. Making history. So Barbara, we'll see each other next week. We'll have a guest next week, right?
We will have a guest next week, and I was supposed to look it up and then totally forgot.
I gotta help you because I know I had it too. But we're gonna have a wonderful guest that Barbara always brings. Like we always tell people, make happiness the norm.
The norm.
The norm. That's the mission. Barbara has me all in her mission now. So make happiness the norm.
Make happiness the norm. Make happiness the norm. Absolutely. So we will see you next week with a fabulous guest. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.